From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. After 5 weeks of testimony, the evidence hearing for the group of men known as the Fairbanks Four wrapped up late this afternoon.
That's right. Closing arguments from the attorneys representing Kevin Pease, Eugene Vent, Marvin Roberts, and George Fries centered around new evidence in the confession made by inmate Bill Holmes. The team of lawyers say the investigation of the case was ongoing for years, but it was only after that new evidence came to light that they filed for post-conviction relief. The state's lawyer, Adrienne Bachman, addressed those claims in her closing as well, but through the testimony of Jason Wallace. Wallace has also been at the center of this post-conviction relief filing, accused of being the actual assailant of John Hartman in October of '97. Wallace, under a blanket of immunity, testified that he had nothing to do with Hartman's brutal beating death. Bachman asked the judge to uphold the men's convictions despite the evidence presented at the hearing. Now, Judge Paul Lyle addressed the petitioners this afternoon. He said this matter would be, quote, painstaking. He further noted he would be reviewing thousands of pages of transcripts until the end of January and then begin the 6-month task of taking the case under advisement. Lyle says that the time frame is also an estimate and that he is prepared to take longer when making his final decision.
To reach the conclusion that the state would like you to reach, you must conclude that Bill Holmes in 2011 and Jason Wallace in 2003, separately, years apart, chose the exact same crime from the distant past and falsely accused each other of killing John Hartman.
Who factually was involved in the episode that they are describing? Was it Bill, Jason, and Harold, the mysterious Harold that Mr. Davison now wants to disavow? Was it Jason, Bill, and Rashawn? Or was it the 5 men now named by Mr. Holmes? You will not have clear or convincing evidence of who was involved in the alternative explanation that the petitioners offer you.
The Fairbanks City Council voted to take away the mayor's leave and comp time benefits and replace it with a raise in salary last night. Also, the council heard all about the recent motor vehicle accidents on Phillips Field Road. Reporter Ryan Grimes has the story.
Councilman David Pruse sponsored the ordinance that outlines the payment plan for the next Fairbanks mayor. His ordinance bumps the mayor's salary by about $6,500, totaling to $86,500 annually. It also ends leave time and comp time benefits.
Mayor Eberhardt put it correctly, it's something he can live with. It was amended by Councilman Matherly, who's also running for mayor, I'm sure, in the future. So we have both the people living with this.
The ordinance was passed unanimously by attending council members. The new deal for the mayoral position won't go into effect until December 1st next year. The council also heard a complaint from one local resident, John Jakovich, regarding numerous motor vehicle accidents occurring on Phillips Field Road. He recounted his experience when his truck swayed towards the outer edge of the roadway and caught itself on a deep rut.
The right tire left a little bit of the side of the road, which was not a big deal. Everything maintained, and so I just kind of turned to go back up on the road a little bit. Front tire went up real good. Back tire stayed off the side of the road, and the truck started to go into a slide. And I got to tell you, I've been practicing my whole life to drive on these roads, and it took everything John Jakovich had to keep this thing from going in circles.
Up to 6 accidents were confirmed on Phillips Field Road yesterday, nearest to train tracks belonging to the Alaska Railroad Company.
I've heard some really bad things about that stretch of road. I think I'll be telling my wife and my son, who's a new driver this year, to stay away from that road.
There will be more investigation on Phillips Field Road tomorrow. This is Ryan Grimes reporting.
All right, when we come back today, the Commissioner of Education and Early Development for the state followed up on yesterday's announcement of Fairbanks students doing well on recent tests.
Also, Monty Bowen will talk about how losing daylight each day does play a role in some Alaskans' depression moods during the winter. Stay with us. And welcome back. Westpac Midstream is among the 5 finalists vying for the Interior Energy Project bid. The company is suggesting a Cook Inlet liquefied natural gas solution to help bring affordable energy to the interior. Its parent company, Oak Tree Capital, maintains around $100 billion of energy, financial, and technology sector assets. Westpac representatives say the biggest challenge management foresees is the uncertain nature of demand for LNG in the region. The company plans to confront the possibility of having excess capacity by shipping leftover gas to other marine markets. It also considers using a rail option in project bid documents as part of its full supply chain approach. Westpac Midstream operates 2 small-scale LNG plants, one of which representatives say will be identical to what is built in Alaska.
They are currently involved with 2 small-scale LNG plants, one in Canada, one in Jacksonville, Florida. The Jacksonville, Florida plant will be replicated here. It's the same size, so they've done all the engineering and design work, and it can be replicated and just put on the ground here in a short order, and they know the cost.
On Monday, we reported that students in the Fairbanks School District outperformed statewide averages in the inaugural round of state assessments known as the Alaska Measures of Progress, or AMP testing. Today, Alaska Commissioner of Education and Early Development Mike Hanley spoke to the local business community at the Greater Fairbanks Chamber of Commerce weekly luncheon. Hanley described AMP as the summit of assessment tests in the state. Students from 3rd through 10th grade take the assessment each spring. He says AMP evolved from new, tougher standards recently adopted by the state. 34% of students statewide met standards in English and language arts, while 30% met standards in math. It was reported in some media that these results represent a drop in student proficiency. Hanley says it's impossible to correlate AMP results with previous state assessments.
I know the papers today talked about how our scores have dropped. They haven't dropped. They're totally different. They can't even be connected. They're so different. But we have a new baseline. I don't want to see 40%. I want to see a lot more of our kids. But it's only one picture of what our schools are doing.
With the change in time and the cold setting in, Alaskans see a lot of dark this time of year, and that can lead to depression. Monty Bowen talks about seasonal affective disorder in this week's Health Report.
We just set our clocks back. We're losing daylight each day, and the temperatures have dropped. If you're feeling down about it, you're not alone. This time of year often triggers the winter blues and seasonal affective disorder, also known as SAD.
It's very common for folks predisposed to seasonal affective disorder to start to experience sluggishness, feeling of sleepiness, really craving sleep, start to crave carbohydrates, maybe gain a little weight, start to feel a little bit more irritable.
SAD is a type of depression. Experts believe it may be related to changes in the amount of sunlight we get. The doctor says restricted daylight hours are thought to cause some people's brains to produce more melatonin, which can lead to tiredness. People who struggle with their mood this time of year should take action now. Dr. B suggests battling SAD symptoms like sluggishness and isolation with an exercise program. Investing in the therapy light can also help brighten dark days.
If you're exposed, people are exposed for about a half hour a day to this bright light. About 70% of folks who suffer with seasonal affective disorder will actually see improvements.
He said, if you're using a therapy light, you'll see the best results if you use it every day. This is Monty Bowen reporting.
The Health Report is brought to you by the Ear, Nose, and Throat Clinic, located in the Medical Dental Arts Building, and by Interior Women's Health, located on 1626 30th Avenue.
All right, Joe Cook is up next with sports, and he's poolside for today's Nanit Corner.
That's right, one swimmer is making a name for herself at the U.
You'll meet her, plus a Seattle team takes a local curling title.
Interesting. All that and more with Joe after the break.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here with your local Tuesday Sportscast. In today's Nanit Corner, we highlight a swimmer who has started the year hot. Ironically, she actually likes the cold. Here's more on UAF's Kate Matthews. Every season, the Alaska swim team has 1 or 2 swimmers who really make an impact. So far, that swimmer is Division I Hawaii transfer Kate Matthews. After 2 meets, Matthews has earned CollegeSwimming.com's NCAA Division II Swimmer of the Week and PCSC Swimmer of the Week awards. But how did the Salem, Oregon native get to UAF? Alaska was on her bucket list.
I love snow, and I am not a fan of warm weather, so it's like, ooh, cold weather and snow and just the mountains. I just fell in love with it.
Matthews, a sophomore, wanted to come to Alaska since she was 7 years old. UAF's number 7 rank in academics for D2 programs led her to contact head coach Scott Limley, who is from Oregon.
I have a good feeling for the state. I know a lot of the coaches down there. That's where I swam in high school. Anybody that's from Oregon, I'll take a chance on.
Taking that chance has paid off. Matthews ranks 13th nationally in the 200 IM. She's 14th in the 100 breast and 200 backstroke.
She's got discipline, she's got ambition, she's got goals, so all I need to do is just support it. She's like a good quarterback. She makes everybody better around her.
Matthews feels the training is a little more intense at UAF compared to Hawaii, which is a huge program. Matthews likes the intimacy of her current team, which has led to her streaming success.
This team is so much more of a family. I think Hawaii is like 60 people because they have both men and women, that just having 15 girls makes it just a lot easier to be more like a family.
Matthews and the Nooks will be back in the pool this weekend, Friday at 6 p.m. and Saturday at 9:30 a.m. hosting Cal State East Bay.
Nanook Corner, brought to you by Sports Medicine Fairbanks.
And the Alaska Nanooks men's basketball team played for the first time in front of their home crowd on Monday night. They took on Lincoln Christian University in an exhibition games, the third game in 4 days for the Nooks, who lost road exhibitions to Division I Nevada and BYU. UAF had the upper hand last night. Joe Slocum led 5 other Nanooks in double figures with a game-high 21 points on 6 for 9 shooting in just 20 minutes. He was 3 for 4 from beyond the arc. Javonte Williams and Isaac Ledinez both scored 11 points. Alaska bombs the Red Lions in a 100-3 to 55 win. The Nanooks finished the preseason 1-2. Friday, Alaska hosts Hawaii Pacific and Chaminade in the GNAC Pac West crossover tournament. It wasn't the best weekend for the Nanook rifle team, but they have a long time to get things right. In Monday's Collegiate Rifle Association poll, UAF has dropped to 5th place after going 1-2 this past weekend. Alaska defeated Akron on Friday, but placed 4th overall in the Akron Invitational Rehearsal Tournament. Akron will host the NCAA Championships. They held a preview tournament with 12 ranked teams. Sunday, the Nanooks fell to number 1 Kentucky by 16 points. Sagan Madalena was the top shooter for the Nooks all weekend. The redshirt sophomore won 2 air rifle titles, shooting a near perfect 600 with 2 .598 scores. Alaska won't be back in the range until January 2016. Staying with rifle, we go down to the high school ranks in our next story for the Battle of the Dogs in the rifle range. Over the weekend, West Valley and Lathrop shot against each other at TVSA. The Wolfpack won air rifle by 24 points and small bore by 106 points for the sweep. Delaney Reese shot a .562 to lead West Valley in small bore, but Kelsey McGrath would win the event for Lathrop with a .565. Delaney Reese shot a personal best .573 for a match high in air rifle for the Wolfpack. Liam Eberhardt was second for Lathrop with a .568. North Pole will be matched up with Lathrop this weekend, while West Valley shoots against Toke. Now we hit the sheets for some curling. For the first time in a long time, a Persinger wasn't in the winner's circle. The Yukon Title Curling Classic has a new champion. Sunday's final was between Team Sieg in the green and Team Pawlowski in the blue. Team Sieg out of Seattle finished pool play undefeated, and they've gone to win the finale 4-2 over Team Pawlowski. Lyle Sieg, a world senior curling champion, Matt and Stephen Berklid and Sam Gailey won $3,600. It's their first Yukon title. Sieg got his first title in his 6th year of competing in Fairbanks. Team Thieves won the consolation final over Team Shuttleworth. And that's a wrap for sports tonight. Thanks for watching. Mike Schultz is next with your 4-weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back in to our Tuesday night edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again talking about weather. A so-so day across the interior. Not a whole lot going on. We had some mid-level clouds, but temperatures quite a bit chilly. And we're looking at colder temperatures on the horizon. Very cold this weekend. We'll tell you about that in just a little bit. Here's our photograph night sent in by Russell Snyder, looking at the Tanana from Chino Ridge, I'm assuming, because it's looking right down the Tanana River there. Just about frozen all the way across, but you can see some open areas there. And as always, if you have a photograph, please send it to photos@ktvf11.com and we'll share it with the rest of the audience. And speaking of photos, once again, a reminder, our photos are out in the Fab Photo Calendar. You can see all the ones that have been sent in, well, not all of them, but quite a few of them that have been sent in throughout the year from all of our visitors and our viewers that have been on the evening news. And you can pick them up. They're free all over the place. Just go to the website and look under the lifestyle category. You'll see all the clients listed that are handing them out. Again, that's a really good stocking stuffer for Christmas. Numbers look like this. Today's high 11 degrees. Last night 1 degree below zero. The record high 49 in 1997. The record low 42 below in 1989. And your sunrise and sunset 6 hours and 51 minutes of daylight. That's a loss of 6 more minutes from yesterday. On our satellite and radar, again, that area of low pressure spinning up around the Seward Peninsula just north of Nome, still helping to usher a little bit of moisture across the interior, but not really realizing a whole lot of showers out of this. A little more activity once again moving across southeast Alaska. And looking at our latest radar in the Fairbanks area, zooming in, and you can see a few patches of showers here and there moving across from the southwest to the northeast, but nothing really substantial being reported whatsoever. And as far as the overall picture for the rest of the state, well, the rain continues to fall around Ketchikan, but now it's freezing in the Juneau area, 38 degrees, ugly position there, and sunshine around the Anchorage Bowl with showers at Kodiak Island and Cold Bay, getting ready for some really strong winds. And they're looking at 34 degrees. Up and down the west coast, clear to partly cloudy skies. 16 degrees at Barrow today in Fort Yukon at 14. Lower 48 weather, well, there are a few showers around the Seattle area, 52 degrees there. Starting to warm up a little bit around the Phoenix area, but still cool in Las Vegas, 59. 67 degrees in Denver, but they're looking at snow moving in overnight. Showers across the Texas area, more rain across the Central Plains, all in association with a big storm system coming in from the west, and that shows up pretty good on the satellite. Here's the lower level jet stream, and then it's meeting up with this huge area of cold air that's moving in from the Rockies, expected to move out on the plains and bring with it quite a bit of weather. In fact, a lot of snowfall expected. You see 6 to 12 inches in the higher elevations of the Rockies. Denver could see 3 to 6 inches, and that's all because, once again, the jet stream is taking a big dive down to the south and helping to bring that cooler air in from Canada. At the same time, a lot of activity moving across the Great Lakes, too. Well, it's time once again for our kids' weather. All this week we've been talking with the kids from Ladd Elementary School, and tonight we have a young man with a picture to share.
I drew this picture because it has happened to me when I was younger, and this is kind of how my house looked. We had all this lightning and the rain. I was outside though, but there was 2 tornadoes, and then my mom yelled for me to go inside. The house started to crack, and so we went into our basement and we hid there. There was a lot of cobwebs, and so I was a little freaked out.
Yeah, you can understand why he was freaked out. Again, thanks to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather. Tomorrow night, a young lady will be here with an interesting question to ask me. And as far as our forecast for the rest of Alaska for tomorrow, foggy conditions at Barrow, cloudy and Nome, snow showers for Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, not too bad. Looking at isolated showers in the Fairbanks area, a few flurries for Healy, and just partly cloudy skies at Delta Junction. The rains will continue over southeast Alaska, scattered showers from Juneau right on through Ketchikan. Over to the southwest, look at these winds. Hurricane force winds at Cold Bay gusting to 85 miles an hour. Partly cloudy skies at Bethel and rain for Kodiak. And over the south central regions, looking at partly cloudy skies at Anchorage, rain and snow showers in Homer, and snow showers for Valdez. In our forecast for the remainder of the night, fairly quiet for the most part, just looking at increasing clouds with a few snow showers possible after midnight. 5 degrees for the overnight low. Tomorrow's forecast, 15 for the high with cloudy skies and isolated snow showers once again. But look at the 5-day outlook. Single digits to 0 for the daytime highs and overnight lows in the teens to mid-teens all the way across the board there. And once again, off and on, a chance for some snow shower activity, nothing heavy expected. But the key factor is much colder temperatures moving back into the interior as we are really getting into more of a winter time pattern.
I could feel it this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could.
Body
blows forecast there, Mike.
Right. It was one of those mornings where you just didn't want to get out of bed, you know, you'd get curl up in another blanket.
Yeah, it was nice staying at home. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, boy.
Well, I won't be here tomorrow. No,
you got to go buy yourself some pants. Some
yeah, I
snow
do.
pants. Yeah. Here's your reminder. All right, thanks, Mike. That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Well, tonight on NBC Nightly News, you'll like this one, Joe. This is in your ballpark. The U.S. Soccer Federation declared today that they will no longer allow headers for kids under 10 years of age due to concussion possibilities. That's up next with Lester Holt.
All right. For more news and school bus schedule updates, tune in tomorrow morning with J.R. Lewis during the Today Show.
All righty. From all of us here at the News Center, we hope you have a good night.
Good night.